Yes. Hi, everybody. Coming at you live on Friday night from the great state of Florida. I'm grading exams. It's final exam period, so, it's pretty busy around here. You see, Friday night, I'm all dressed up, and yes, I am wearing pink. I have a pink shirt on, a pink tie. I am secure enough to wear the color pink at least once a month, okay? And I also want to share with you, in addition to the fact that I'm getting your final papers graded, I want to share with you something that has been very important to me, and it's something that a college education can really develop in us, okay? Not that you have to go to college to do this, but, as college students and as we're spending 4 years, doing this and doing that, reading this, reading that, writing this, writing that, basically doing what we're told, and that way it becomes second nature, okay, reading, writing, and so on. Reading is something that will really, enrich our lives, whether it's novels or poetry or essays or, history, whatever, okay, reading can greatly contribute to the growth of the mind, okay? So, we have, reading we can do on, say, Twitter. There can be some decent stuff on Twitter, but, you can also rot your brain out on Twitter. You can get some reading done on Facebook. And there's some decent stuff on Facebook, but you can also rot your brain out on Facebook too. Okay, so, long story short, I always read, 3 to 4 poems a day at least. Okay, this is a poetry collection by Gary Soto. He's one of my favorite poets. I paid almost $80 for this first edition of his book, Black Hair. I read this about 15 years ago in Lincoln, Nebraska. In fact, if you go to the Bennett Martin Public Library, you can see my handwriting in this book. This was a hugely influential author for me, this discovery of Gary Soto. My entire condo will smell like this book. So watch, it's going to happen. I think I own every collection that Gary Soto has written. Okay? And he's still going. So I have a lot more of Gary Soto to read. I also read, philosophy and or religion every day. Okay, at least a chapter. This is by Father Frederick Copleston. And this book is about the atheist philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, who proclaimed that God is dead. And Father Copleston has a really awesome take on this. He's very critical of Nietzsche, but he's also very sympathetic to Nietzsche for trying to put something in God's place once God had died. Culturally speaking. Okay, there is a guy who said that God literally died. His name's Thomas J.J. Altizer, but that death of God theologian is not the same type of death of God thinker that Friedrich Nietzsche is. Okay, for one, God's death is a metaphysical event. For Friedrich Nietzsche, it's a cultural event. So Copleston praises Nietzsche for trying to save Western civilization from nihilism. And Nietzsche put, the Superman in God's place. A very fascinating study of Nietzsche here by a very famous Catholic philosopher. I love the smell of this book too. All of Father Copleston's books are great. Maybe one side of my condo will smell like Nietzsche, philosopher of culture. The other half will smell like that Gary Soto book. How about that? A little compromise. A little compromise never hurt anybody. Okay, so this is a great thinker, both Nietzsche and Father Copleston, and I've been influenced greatly by both. Copleston has great prose. He's just a beautiful writer, a master of the English language. I could go on and on, but I'm just going to stop there. And also the poet Charles Simic. Charles Simic has probably been the most influential writer in my life. I heard a poem read by Garrison Keillor on the Prairie Home Companion about probably 15 years ago, also back in Lincoln, Nebraska. And it was from the book of Gods and Devils. I've actually bought that book a few times, and I've marked it up so many times that I had to buy new books. The same book. I had so polluted the margins and everything in those older editions. I had to get new ones, but Simic is from the former Yugoslavia, so he's seen hard times. Okay, this is a guy who would be sympathetic to the death of God in Europe. these days it's more in the western half of Europe than in the eastern half, and that's a little beyond the scope of this message. Okay, but this is a great book of essays on poetry, on philosophy, on American life, and what's going on in it. This is a collection of essays from 5 or 6 collections. Okay, Fly in My Soup, A Metaphysician in the Dark, okay, and so on and so forth. I might like this smell a little bit better. I'm gonna have to compare over a glass of Cabernet here. See, this is what I do to get away from the world's insanity. A little poetry, a little philosophy, some essays. We have to grow our minds. So, our education can start in the college classroom, but it should not end in the college classroom. And I'm sure you've noticed I'm a little bit different than everybody else. Have you picked up on that? One of these kids is not like the other, and it's always been that way. Ever since I was about that big, one of these kids was not like the others. And I'm 45 now. Okay? So, the way I do things, I believe will have a greater impact on you down the road. You might not be able to see it now, but believe me, it's coming. Okay? I go above and beyond what the textbook says. Okay? And again, you might not be able to see it now, but believe me, you are going to see it soon. Okay? So that's what I'm for as your instructor. And I believe everybody had some big takeaway moments in this class. Not everybody's going to get the same thing out of this, but, that's just the nature of the beast, folks. Okay? Is my volume on? Oh, yeah, it is. Good. I'm on full blast, I think. That's good. Okay. So I think that's going to be it. I could go on and on, but, you have a busy life. I have a lot going on. I got to get back to the grading. Maybe read a poem or two in between. I've already read poetry today, but I might finish up with 1 or 2 more. Okay? So that's all. My name's Lee Tacey. I stand by these words. And, I guess you just have to deal with it if you don't like it. Because I have to deal with your viewpoint. All right? And that's what makes America great. We can't get killed for our viewpoint. At least not yet. All right, so that's all. And, you should check out Nietzsche and Simic and Soto. This is what I'm going to do right now. All right, over and out.